From when I set Youth Empowerment up in the early days, I operated pretty much as a sole trader on my own, but it quickly became apparent that the demand was out there. And very quickly, lots of schools, lots of youth organisations got in touch and said they were interested in our services. And I had to look at where I was going to get a team of facilitators together who were going to be able to deliver the programmes that we wanted, delivered in the way that we wanted them delivered. Very early on, I used my own networks of people I knew who had changed and people who had gone through, for example, drug rehabilitation and education and really wanted a new way of life.
We'd met for coffee and, you know, we had a lot in common. You know, he'd been in care, you know, he was out living under a life sentence, and, you know, it was very interesting, you know, because you hear all these stories within prison, and he kind of was an inspiration. I had a few voluntary days, and when I got released I just went full-time voluntary and just threw myself into it. You know, is jealousy healthy or unhealthy? My early education and when I was growing up, when I was at school, I found school really difficult. When I was about 8 or 9, I realised that I couldn't do what other young people were doing. I really struggled with my reading and I really struggled with my writing. 11, 12 was hanging around with people that was 16, 17, 18, so they was older than me, involved in criminality. You know, I was drinking alcohol, smoking weed, and I thought, okay, if I shoplift lipsticks, mascaras, eyeshadow, then I'll take them to school and I'll sell them and get people to do my work that way. And it did work for a little bit, but it run its course, and, you know, the school found out and I had a really big fight and I was permanently excluded.
I was excluded from most of the schools that I went to, ended up in the care system, and then I entered the prison system at the age of 21, and then eventually got a life sentence at the age of around 38.
And I can remember looking over the balcony on the twos and looking down, watching everybody ducking and diving, seeing a group of people in the mix, and then there was another group of people that were just keeping their head down and not getting involved, and I thought I need to do something different. I was able to go to the gym and they was doing a fitness course, and I thought I'd really like to do that, and I kind of embarked on that course. I was quite nervous and I had quite a lot of fear because obviously I knew that there was some written work to do, but I knew that a lot of the course was practical, and there was a PEI officer who really helped and supported me, and I think that was the first time that anybody really believed in me and really gave me that encouragement. And I ended up qualifying, doing my level 3, so doing my personal trainer, which I've been told is A-level, so I was really shocked when I did that.
I ended up in a drug rehabilitation unit within a prison where I was helped and supported to look at my drug addiction, and I sort of come out the other side of that, and it was right at the end of that process that a counsellor suggested to me and sort of encouraged me to visit the education department in the prison that I was in and look at how I could improve my education, and I said I'd probably like to go into the field of drug rehabilitation. So he found a course that was an interpersonnel skills course with the University of Wales, Lampeter, and as soon as he said it was a university course, it sort of frightened me, and I didn't believe that I was at that level, and I completed that course and actually passed with a distinction, and it was then that they started to talk to me about Open University courses, which by then I sort of, my belief in myself had grown, and I was quite inspired by education and found that I quite enjoyed it and looked forward to the challenge of it, and obviously the subjects that I'd chosen to study interested me as well. When I actually went through and completed the course, it did give me a real big buzz and an adrenaline rush that I'd actually completed something.
When I passed that qualification, it really kind of boosted that confidence and self-belief, and I thought actually if I put that hard work in, I can do it. And as well, I think from the support of the prison officer who was kind of believing and encouraging me, and slowly but slowly I started to kind of get that inner belief.
I was working with some young offenders within the prison that I was in, and I started thinking about the possibility of putting together a business plan and developing a community project for when I was released. We'd break the group of young people down into smaller groups and ask them to get together and put these offences in order, with the most serious offence at the top coming down to what they consider to be the least serious. We're not only bringing people on board and giving them training to deliver the programmes, but we're also in a way teaching them what working in a professional organisation is like and what the requirements are like, and for example about being on time and how you present yourself and how you speak to people.
And then the loving stage and then the abusive stage.
So you put these out on the table so the girls can see clearly what the different stages are.
I think it was a year ago, I just kind of sat at home and I thought, you know, I really want to put something together for females and around kind of relationships and being exploited. You know, when I was younger, I was exploited myself, and I kind of really wanted to put something to get together for young girls to kind of, you know, show them the potential risks and how to keep themselves safe.
Well, it's incredible because rough figures are that around about £5,000 was invested in me to do my education in prison. The vast majority of that comes from the Prisoners Education Trust. The amount of money that was spent incarcerating me for 18.5 years runs into hundreds of thousands of pounds.
I took so much out of society for so many years, and it makes me feel good that I can put something back, and that hopefully that I can save lives, you know, instead of them going through a destructive path like I did.
Everyone that I know who has sustained a successful life away from offending has engaged in education.
When I'm in schools, I pinch myself. I kind of go in to my session, I'm always early so that I can set up, and I'm putting the chairs out, and then usually I have 5 minutes before the young people walk in, and I sit there and I kind of look around the room, and I really have to pinch myself, and I think, wow, who would have ever believed it, you know, from where I was, you know, kind of pushing all the boundaries and, you know, being aggressive and violent, that I would be sat now in delivering programs to young people.